We're like, hey, isn't that old dude? He sees us. Boy just starts running.
What did he have it on for?
It was Halloween.
Halloween? Oh, okay. I missed that part.
You know, when it was middle school, he had a full costume on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to the Young Mind Podcast. I got my boy, real estate agent, tech guy, Hooper, Derek. What's going on, bro?
It's going good. How you doing?
You know, chilling. It was fun playing basketball with you earlier.
Yeah.
A little hot. My knees gave out.
It's concrete. It's not good for him.
And a double rim.
And a double rim.
It was like a triple rim. That rim was really strong.
Rim without a net. The worst of the worst.
It was not a good time, but it was.
But we don't always do that. It's just because they're all shut down right now.
We went to an apartment complex we usually hoop at. You'll see the footage here soon. There was 20 people there.
Yeah. It looked like a practice, like a team practice.
It really did. And we looked like we did not belong.
Yeah.
I think if we would have got on the court, we would have been a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
I mean, we would compete with anybody.
Without a doubt.
But yeah. Too many people we wouldn't even got a game in.
Yeah. We would have got a game in.
It's half court.
We would have won. Would have won a couple games. Then we would have lost and it would have been over. That's usually how it goes. But yeah, man. Crazy times right now. Crazy times. You know, COVID's still around. They said Ebola's coming back. And then you got the protests, riots, police brutality going on around the country. And it's just crazy, honestly. What's your take on? Let's just dive into what's going on. How you feel about the protests and what's going on?
How I feel about it, I'm all for it. I like all the protests. It's almost like a good thing that everything's happening right now. Like people want to talk about the negatives about the protesting and about what's happening. Like if you look deep enough to the details, but if you look at the bigger picture of what's going on, it's like a modern civil rights movement happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it like that, you have these people that just want to be smart asses about it. They want to take some attention with all the all lives matter.
There's a whole lot of trolling going on right now.
Yeah, exactly. And they just want they want to be well, all lives do matter. Yeah, you know that? No shit. We know. Everyone, you just feel dumber having to explain, yes, we get it. All lives do matter, obviously. But what's important right now and the bigger picture of everything, you should be able to see.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't, then I guess you just never will be able to, or you just purposely want to be that guy.
I really do want to talk to some people who have this all lives matter approach. I don't understand it.
The only part that I could try to understand is the people that are trying to be above everyone, equality. If you live in a bubble and you go, we're all equal, so all lives do matter. And you're like, okay, yeah. But we don't live in a bubble and there's context to everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you just sit there and just keep acting like nothing's going on?
I saw a tweet. I've seen tweets from the LGBTQ community. And they're like, if you're saying that protests never work, I never want to see you at Pride again.
Yeah.
Because what is Pride, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there was, of course, on Twitter. I mean, Twitter is the biggest news source in the world now.
It really is.
And it's real people, real time, things that are really happening. It's not like a media consumption, or controlling what's being put on it. So, but yeah, and they were saying the first Pride protests were riots.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it started. And there's just so many people that are just uneducated about history that just don't know what's going on. You take songs from the 90s, from Public Enemy, Dead Prez,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you just listen to them today they're brand new and they apply. And that shouldn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So how can you act like nothing's going on? It's propaganda.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's crazy.
This is a little off topic, but it is on topic. When you're talking about Twitter being the biggest news source, you see Trump tried to sign that agenda. He tried to sign an executive order, making it to where Twitter couldn't fact check him. And then Mark Zuckerberg's oh, it's not our responsibility to control what people see. I think Zuckerberg's just bootlicking, trying to be good on Trump's side, because if Trump's gonna be lying and spreading fake news, because the reason that they did that is he said we can't do mail order, not mail order.
He did something he made a tweet and they took it down. So then he made the executive order that they can't take out tweets because they don't agree with it or because they say it's not factual.
But Twitter's a private company.
Yeah, but they do have certain it's a social media platform. It's not a law, but they have certain things codes. They get they don't get taxed properly over certain stuff. because they're supposed to be like free, non-biased, unedited. Like or else it would be like a news source if they edited what is allowed to be on.
Kind of like a Wikipedia.
Yeah. So that's why, and they get certain. I don't know. I don't know the exact wording of everything, but if they were to edit stuff and it would be more editorial. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't be able to be a free platform.
Right.
Like they could be like free, like not money wise, but they wouldn't be able like a free space for everyone to. So I actually kind of agree with that. Like I feel like you should be able to self-educate, and like if you see something, you don't have to believe it on Twitter, but you can go and educate for yourself.
But I just feel like with the president of the United States making a tweet basically telling people that you can't vote, like you're not going to be able to vote like this. Mm-hmm. I think that Trump needs to be. I don't think he should be able to tweet everything that he wants to tweet. I think some of the stuff he says is just a bad look for the country.
When it comes to like free speech.
Of course, but I don't think
so. That's what I mean. So you can't like censor one person.
But free speech is kind of hypocritical. I don't think that everybody has free speech.
Well, yeah, okay, I would agree. That's like a whole nother topic. But yeah, I would agree. But in the pursuit of free speech, you can't censor one person.
You're right, but
so that's what I would look at it. Because if he's saying all these terrible things and he's tweeting all these stupid things, he shouldn't be president
at all,
right? So that's like should be priority number one, not like let's rearrange free speech, let's rearrange Twitter and how the social media works and how now certain things can't be said on it or whatever it is. And instead just vote him out, or just shouldn't have been voted in. But
if we could go on forever about that.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. So from my standpoint, I kind of agree that they shouldn't be able to edit or censor what goes on there unless it's on their guidelines, which they have.
I don't know if they deleted it. I just know that they put a little I around it and said this may not be factual information or something. I'm not sure. I'm not.
I didn't see it. I saw the one where it was glorifying violence.
No, that one. Yeah, that one said. Like,
yeah, that was a different one.
That one said like this is going to entice violence. Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up real quick.
Yeah, and it was just like a precursor. You could still view the tweet.
Getting back to what's going on with the protests and everything, I think it's like a tale of two stories. I'm definitely on board with the protest, but I kind of want to talk to these people who are looting, burning buildings down.
Yeah,
because I'm curious about what the goal and what the mission is. I'm all for protesting. I definitely support that. But when you're burning down buildings in your own community, like they burnt that 7-Eleven down yesterday, the owner was on the news. Like he wasn't mad because he understands why we're doing this. Yeah. I'm just curious why we chose to burn that 7-Eleven down.
Yeah. I can't answer it. There's no answer, honestly. I feel like anytime a group of people are partaking in something, you're gonna have like a small percentage that is gonna try to ruin it for everybody, and that's like with anything, or they're just like not following the rules, not on the same page as everyone else. And yeah, I guess it happens. And in a perfect world, it wouldn't happen at all. But I think in the bigger picture, it's all necessary.
Yeah. I'm happy to see where we are. Like I'm happy to see all these different groups, the whole world basically coming together and protesting.
Yeah.
But if you look back to the 60s, like the civil rights movements, the protests were great. But I think that we had the most success in these movements when we were doing boycotts and really taking the money out of people's pockets. Like when we boycotted the buses, the white people got pissed. Yeah. They were mad because they were losing money because we were providing so much money to them through the busing. So personally, my take on everything is the protesting is great. The rioting, looting, I understand it. I may not agree with it 100%, but I understand it. But I think the best thing that we could do is find a way to take the money out of these rich corporations that don't give a fuck about us,
Yeah.
Because like when that Target got looted, the CEO came out and said, I get it. I ain't mad.
Yeah. Boy, and it's all insured. It's not like he's really losing anything. He's just, if anything, he might get more money from it.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that is a good point. Like boycotts, riots maybe the first step, protests first step, and yeah, boycotting it'd be a good one.
Like when Cap sat out and got kicked out the league, they were saying that like it'd be great if more African American players sat out the league.
Yeah, could you imagine if a game started or like the season goes on and LeBron James isn't playing, or like I guess like younger stars, but all these stars aren't playing. Like a lot of people would argue that like the league will continue without them, but come on, they bring people, they bring fans. That's why they get paid so much because they make money from for all these big corporations.
Right. And the argument that happened when Cap like suggested that is some of these players were like, we're living paycheck to paycheck
Yeah,
because they have so much family. Maybe they blew their money. So
yeah,
like I gotta work.
and that's notorious for like NFL players
Hmm.
because they get paid by the game.
Right. Exactly.
So
But I mean, this is so unrealistic. But the way I look at it is, if like going back again, like when we had the Negro League for baseball, it was great. White people were actually going to go watch the Negro League. White people didn't care. But then
yeah.
there was other white people who saw opportunity, like, hey, let's just bring some of these guys over to the MLB, dissipate the Negro League, and we'll have control again. So I just think it'd be great if there was more black-owned organizations, black-owned news channels. I just wish we could see more of that.
Yeah.
Put the money back in, but I don't know.
I think the whole system, if the revision of the system and how money starts, like, I mean, it's such a hard thing to even like talk about or like start to fix.
I don't even know if it can be fixed.
Yeah, it might be too deep into this like timeline of how things have been going.
If you look at the system, if you look at the presidential candidacy, why the fuck are our presidential candidates like 70?
Nobody likes them. Like nobody likes the candidates that we have. Any of them.
There is a percentage, like Trump knows he has this base that's going to support him regardless. But the majority of the woke people, they don't want to vote for Trump. They don't want to vote for Biden.
No. Well,
why do we have to?
Nobody believes in like the bipartisan politics anymore. Everyone knows that it's like a show on both sides. Each side is using the people's struggles or the whatever they believe in as a just way to get elected.
The system, I don't even think it's bipartisan anymore. It's like, you told me the story of the Republican who was gay. They're like, how are you a Republican if you're gay?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not even about beliefs anymore. It's just like,
yeah, because and that's like the social thing that more the left push. It's like social things contribute to whether you're on the left or right now in your beliefs and views. But really, that has nothing to do with politics. But now it's all cultural and social politics. Like you don't care about any like the taxes and stuff like that. You don't hear about that. You don't hear about the real policies half the time. Don't. It's just this guy did something bad. You shouldn't vote for him. Oh no, but he did this and it was a little bit worse. So you should vote for me even though I did something bad.
How do we fix this?
I don't know.
I think more millennials need to try to get involved in not Congress, but try to get in positions of power, like city council, just have a seat at the table. But I don't even know if that's. I don't know.
I mean, the young people, the closest thing to a seat at the table is voting, but we don't have control of who we're voting for.
We don't.
So it doesn't even.
I think if this was a true democracy, I don't want to vote for either of these candidates. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. I cannot support Trump. I'll do anything I can to get him out of office, but
see, and that's like the saddest part is going, well, this guy's so much worse than this person who's not good at all, but he's worse. So I don't want him in anymore. And I agree. I'm on the same page because I don't want another 4 years of whatever this has been. So
there's a conspiracy. Everything is pretty much a conspiracy now, but people are saying that Trump is going to come out with an economic plan for like black people and people going through trouble right now to try to get their votes to get him back into office.
It could work.
It really could.
Honestly, it could work. I know there were majority of the people that voted for Biden over Bernie were like black citizens. And it's because I guess he sold more to them. You know what I mean? And Bernie's a little bit more radical. It's kind of like, well, what is he doing for us? He's doing all this free stuff. But what is he doing for us?
I do. When Joe Biden won South Carolina by a huge margin, I was drastically disappointed because Bernie was my man.
I feel like a lot of people like Bernie, just like that. Not even, it's again like not like I agree with the policies, but even if you don't agree with the policies, you like him. He's on.
The thing I like about Bernie, he cares. You can tell he wants to make a change,
and he cares about all these young people.
The thing is, I think man, this turned into a political podcast real quick, but fuck it, we talking.
Sorry.
I think the thing about Bernie is the system can't control him.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in 2016 you had Trump and you had Bernie, and their campaigns were a lot alike, a lot more alike than people think they were, or like to say. Because you had two guys who didn't need money from big corporations, who weren't as politically correct as everyone else, and that's what people wanted. They wanted somebody that was like a disruptor, like somebody that's new, different,
Mm-hmm.
who can't be controlled by big corporations. And the Republicans just said, "All right, do it, let it go." And the Democrats, just overthinking or whatever it was, goes, "No, we have to play it safe. If they're going to let some wild card go, we'll be the safe bet. We'll win." And they won't let Bernie go. So then 2020 comes. You saw what happened if you had the safe bet, and you still put Joe Biden ahead. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything in the media, everything on the left side was pushing Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders. Anything Bernie Sanders did, it was like he was broken down for it until Joe Biden won, and then all this stuff comes out. So now he's the guy. So
At one point, they said Joe Biden was the most electable candidate. He doesn't even remember that. That man has dementia. Like, I'm not hating on him. I just don't think he's fit to lead this country. This man's 78 years
No.
old. Do you really would you listen to a 82-year-old man tell you? I just do not understand why our candidates are so old. We need someone who can.
I mean, okay. I guess it's like the elder, wise, seen a lot of years type of thing.
But it's been proven that these older individuals really don't think about the future the way they
Yeah.
should be.
I agree.
I think that we need to have a mix, you know?
A semi-young person, you know? What was it, like 44?
45,
45?
I think. Damn, I passed government class, I swear. I just don't remember.
It's 36.
I just think that the whole... Oh, I think it's 35, actually.
Yeah.
I think that the whole arena of politics is forever changed because we put the executive producer of Celebrity Apprentice in the office.
It's so crazy. Even to think, like, sometimes I like see him making a speech and I'll be like, he's the president. Like, that's Donald Trump and he's the president.
And
crazy.
It irks me that there's some people who really I mean, you free to believe in who you want to, like, whatever, do what you got to do. I don't get it. I'm a person of color, which is very true. I just don't get it. I couldn't get behind that man. Just can't do it.
I agree. Well, I mean, we're in the same boat, so I guess we're not the best ones to be trying to be impartial.
Here's the thing. If you had Obama accused of one of the 50 plus things Trump was accused of,
the whole like right side would try to eat him alive over
it. He would have been gone.
I mean, it was such small things. They didn't even have evidence for anything. They're just bringing up random stuff like, well, is he actually born here?
His middle name is Hussein.
Like, speculating. Yeah, like that matters. Like, because he picked his middle name coming out the womb. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, call me Hussein. And it's just stupid. Just dumb stuff. And then you have this stuff that has evidence. Like, there's real evidence. Like, it may not be like straight, you saw it on camera, he did this, but there's enough evidence to be like,
there's audio recording of him saying, there's audio recording of him saying that. How can you let this man run your country? I wouldn't work for a man that said that.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's crazy. Because you have people that just don't really care about anything. They're just like, yes, yeah. Anything he does, they just like cheer it on.
And there's some people who are born in a conservative family. I'm not even going to say that I disagree with Republican policies, but it's not even about policies anymore, like you said.
It's not even like conservative versus, it's just social stuff. And just, he's a bad person.
It's pretty much like, oh, I support gay rights. You are a liberal. You're a Democrat.
Yeah, and that doesn't make any sense. You could be a Republican and be gay and just be like, it has nothing to do with it.
Oh, you're gay, you must be liberal. I'm actually a conservative, but it's just so stupid.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. It's just like something that's spun that way now.
Oh, you support the legalization of marijuana? You must be a liberal. Like,
yeah, like Republicans can't smoke weed. It's just all this social stuff that just gets swayed a certain way by the media, and then people just eat it up because it's just. I don't know.
Political parties have changed so much because back in the day, Democrats used to be what Republicans are, and Republicans used to be what Democrats are.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Or like progressive and conservative.
It's just weird. This country's in such a weird place, you know. It's like politics is just a game. You
The
gotta.
whole like world's in a weird place right now.
It is.
It's crazy. This has been like literally the craziest year like of our lives.
I think if anyone believes in the simulation theory, the simulation's running wild this year. If you think about it, like each month has been
somebody walked away. They just didn't care, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they'll be fine. It's on autopilot."
for real. Like each month, it's been something different. We lost Kobe. So these so-called killer hornets, COVID-19.
Yeah,
It's just like always been something different.
yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein's supposed death. It's just like I don't know.
We're just hit level June.
Level June.
Level June. We got to keep going. You know, and yeah.
But Bobby Shmurda comes home in December. That's like the grand finale.
Yeah, that's got to be like the turnaround. So we enter 2021 and like everything else, it just starts to fix itself.
Oh my gosh. It just blows my mind that come November, I think this political race is going to get ugly.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be like a civil war. Like I could see that to that like type of degree, like the climate, it could get like that.
It's if you look at what's going on now, it's almost like a race war is brewing.
Yeah. See, but it's not. I don't think it's like as much as a race war as like maybe previous riots about the same thing has been. Because now it's a lot of people that are agreeing they're on the same side. So like you see riots like back then. I mean, yeah, you got like white people in there, but now you have like almost every race kind of coming together against the oppression.
But you still have those.
Yeah, you do still have like the people on the other side that.
But those are the people you want to work because
yeah, like those the protesters in like LA that came to protest against the other protesters, and it's just so crazy to me. Like they're protesting against oppression, and you're gonna go protest that? Like no, the oppression's fine, and like why get rid of it? You know what I mean? And what, you don't believe it's happening? If you don't believe something's happening, then don't even pay attention to it.
Right.
But to go protest it, like it's crazy.
It's wild how like communication changes everything. Because like if you look back 50 years, to hear what the president had to say, you had to like listen to the radio, turn the TV on, and catch them when they were making an announcement. Nowadays, you just gotta have internet, and you can see what the president's saying, and everyone across the country is able to see.
Well, and you can see anything. You can see all of these clips, no context, and then it's up to you to be like, you can either just believe what you just saw, because it'll be like a clip and with a quote telling you what you just saw. You know what I mean? Like it'll have like a little banner going, this person does this.
Nobody's reading the whole thing.
And nobody even like looks into it. They just go, that person did that, and then they watch it and they go, yeah, he did do that. They're telling you like what you just watched.
Controlling you.
Instead of you watching something and then you go, yeah, I just saw this happen. This guy just did this. He goes, it's just like a preface. It's like a subtitle.
It's like asking a closed-ended question instead of an open-ended question.
Yeah.
It's like, did you see him shoot that person? Instead of saying, what did you see there? It's like, you saw this.
No, it's like, so when he shot that person, what did you think?
Yeah. It's good having you here. You know, it's good having allies on our side, especially in a time like this. So it's been great actually watching these protests and seeing a bunch of white people out there. Well, there's actually not even a conspiracy. There's a thought that there's some white people out there looking to agitate, looking to make things look bad for the black protesters. Do you think that's true?
I believe it. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that if you are on the other side and this is happening and you're looking bad? Why wouldn't you just make them look bad? You know what I mean?
It's just pure evil, though.
And well, yeah, exactly, it is. But you know that like white people, white families, just like middle class people and up, like order. Like they don't want to. They have like kids. They want to go to work. They want to come back home and just like have like a normal day, have a normal time. And so they like the order of everything, which is natural. It's not like it's a bad thing, but. So when that order is like disturbed, they're already kind of shook. So if you make the people that are disturbing the order look bad, look worse, then it's easy for them to just knock it and be like, and they just don't agree.
When you put it like that, it makes sense why like racism is still around. You know, like these people have grown up with people like their family members have always been above black people.
Yeah,
and it's just like that's always how it's been. So like that's really all they know. and they can't view a world where we're treated as equals. And I think that's just sad.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is a smaller percentage. Do you know what I mean? Of people. I think now, I mean, because a lot of people are younger than they were before. Like a lot of those people aren't. A lot of people are around like that, but I feel like it's a smaller percentage than just like the normal white person. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But I agree with you. But um, I lost what I was gonna say.
But on the back on the word like allies, back on the allies we have, I've noticed we have like real allies who I don't even think they're doing it for black and white. I think they're really just standing up because
Yeah.
they see the injustice and the inequality. And then I think that we have some who are afraid to speak their mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe because they don't want to offend they don't want to like be
Yeah.
ostracized in their friend group.
Yeah. You have people. Well, you have those people that want to go along with the group. They don't want to be the person on the outside of the group. They don't want to cause conflict in the group. They just want to like kind of go along. So like the blackout thing that happened today, Blackout Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
You the hashtag, there was like 5 million plus more hashtags than Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives Matter has been going on for days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is one day. So like I understand like the sentiment that some people might have. Like not all people are going to be like this, but so some people might just think it's like a genuine thing and be like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. And then you have the other people that, I mean, are too scared of their employers. They're too scared of their friends. They're too scared of everybody to use their own words through Black Lives Matter or just put their own ideas out there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
About what is going on. So then it's just like a surface level. Yeah, I'll post that black picture, whatever. Then I did it. You know, I supported him.
Right.
And to a certain point, you're like, okay, then yeah, you kind of support him. You kind of agree, but it's not, it's just like a surface level thing.
It almost seems like ingenuine.
Yeah, it's like kind of just like, oh yeah, everyone's doing this, so we should do this, I guess. You know, it's not putting your own ideas about what's happening. Like it's not your opinion. You just post a little black box.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to seem shallow. I don't want to seem, like choosy, but I've kind of been looking out for some of my friends to make a statement about what's been going on.
Yeah.
All my friends have passed the test.
That's natural. The test. I mean, it's natural if you're going through something and you want your friends to reach out to you and you expect it, then you look out for that kind of stuff. Especially right now, I think it's perfectly natural that you would do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like, not to say that people should just do it just because like, oh, my friends are going to be mad at me if I don't. Like, if you honestly don't feel that way, then don't do it.
But if you have black friends that you genuinely care
Then-
about, you shouldn't even second guess
Yes,
it.
then you should feel like that naturally. So, yeah. So a lot of people, but I mean, some people will have like employers or colleges and stuff like that holding them back. But to that degree, that's ridiculous. Like you shouldn't care about that college or you shouldn't care about that employer if that does. You know what I mean?
I've been unfriending people on Facebook like crazy.
I mean, I got unfollowed by a couple people. And
you know how wild that is?
I saw a tweet and it was like, yeah, you're lucky I just unfollowed you. I didn't cyberbully you. And it's like, yeah, because like you're in the wrong. It's a modern civil rights movement going on right now. And you're on the other side. You're on the wrong side.
Lucky I didn't cyberbully you. I wish a motherfucker would.
Like it's like think back to the civil rights movements and stuff like that. And like when you're like a kid, like reading about it, you're getting taught about it. You picture yourself being the good person that's on that side with everyone else, like protesting against the oppression. If you're taking the attention from Black Lives Matter, you're going All Lives Matter, you're not saying anything, you're on the other side of that. So I don't get how you can just sit there and be fine with that.
There's a troll that we both encountered on Twitter. I'll bleep this out.
Oh, fuck him.
He's
so stupid. No, you don't have... You can blop out his name, but that interaction on Twitter was the stupidest interaction I've ever had.
He replied to one of my tweets. I just unfollowed him. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this.
I didn't know I was following him. I went to I clicked on his profile and I had him muted, and I was like, why? Why am I even following? Like, because I haven't even thought about that guy or like heard his name or anything for like years, so I didn't even think I followed him. And I clicked on it and I just had him muted. I was like, I must have done that like fucking 8 years ago.
Been living under a bridge. He's a troll, punk ass motherfucker.
He replied to the tweet. I replied to his reply, like making him look stupid. And then he goes, "Oh, I didn't even read your tweet." And then I was like, "Then why? What was your goal? Like, why did you even reply
Just
to my?
trolling.
Why did you even reply?" I was
Just
like, "Let's get the
trolling.
fuck out of here."
He's just trolling. I don't understand people like that.
Yeah, I like there's serious things going on. Like, what do you even? Just don't reply.
Yeah, but on the topic of the protesting and what's been going on, let's talk about the murder of George Floyd. Specifically, the fact that the murderer, I don't even know his name, only got a third-degree murder charge and like some kind of manslaughter thing. But they just did an autopsy to show that George Floyd died from like lack of being able to breathe.
Yeah.
And then you have different camera angles showing two other cops kneeing on him, and you have that Asian cop watching. And then they have the footage of him getting beat up in the back of the squad car.
Yeah.
And this is just all over like bad money. Regardless of what you think, regardless of your racial views, this should not be allowed.
The thing is, like, you're seeing all this stuff. There's plenty of evidence of police brutality. Plenty. Like, if you don't think it happens, you're just insane. So there's plenty of that. And every time you watch one, if you find yourself justifying what happened, if you're justifying and justifying and justifying, there has to be an end to when you realize there's no need to keep justifying this stuff. It's just bad. It just shouldn't happen. So I just know his first name's Derek because of me. But that was the cop that got arrested and charged third-degree murder. And I saw some people, some like smart people on Twitter saying they gave him third degree because if they gave him first, if there was any lack of evidence, then he'd be able to get off without getting anything. So if they give him third degree, there's just enough evidence that he would for sure get that. So they're not. So I guess they could try harder for the first degree, but they're going in third degree going, yeah, he'll get that for sure.
So similarly, this is completely off the topic, but it's not like when women accuse men of rape and they don't have the evidence, the man can just walk away free, even though they clearly got raped, but they didn't have the sufficient evidence. Like sometimes if you have sex with your spouse before you, like the day.
Yeah, but if there's like bruising and stuff, then they can get like assault.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I completely understand why they did that. But it's still, if he walks away, like if he does not get anything.
The world's going to go crazy. Like America's literally just going to go up. It's going to go crazy.
In flames. Like.
It's
going to be wild.
If they're smart, they won't let that happen.
If they're smart.
Yeah.
But like with the argument, like I've been seeing people on Facebook saying, "Oh, I don't see a black man getting killed by a white man. I see a innocent man getting killed by a corrupt cop."
Yeah.
You're just trying to avoid the issue.
Yeah. Even if that's what you see, what's all right about it? Why are you taking away like the attention of what's happening? Just so you can be like, well, actually, this is what happened. What are you talking about?
Even if he was guilty of using fake money, whatever it was,
that's not a death sentence. Those cops aren't judges. Those cops are barely cops. They have no leadership skills. If they can't control some people, like some people say that the pressure of somebody resisting arrest is putting a lot of pressure on the cop. You know, the cop that's armed with a gun, with a taser, with backup, that's too much pressure for them. If somebody resists arrest, that's your job. Like that, if you can't do that, you shouldn't be a cop. Like I think all of the people bringing up all of like the hours that it takes to be a cop and how there's such a lack of training is 100% right. Like
it takes like 6 to 8 years to become a lawyer when you're practicing law. Police officers are enforcing the law, and they just got to go to a little academy.
It takes like 200 more hours to become like a hairdresser. It's insane. Like anyone could be a cop. Like, oh.
I do respect good police officers. Don't think that I hate all police officers. I hate the crooked. I've dealt with good police officers, and there's times
I think we both have dealt with good police officers that do their job. They know what they're doing. That can control a situation. But oftentimes that's not what you see.
And there's so much footage, not even like recent, but there's footage of officers just reaching for the guns.
Yeah. Or just walking up to a car, gun out, because they say it's a black man in the front seat.
Do you know how that makes the person in the driver's seat feel?
Yeah. Yeah, they're talking about the pressure on the cop. That cop has a gun and it's pointed at you. What is the pressure? You know what I mean?
And they're gonna shoot to kill. They're not gonna shoot you once. They're gonna unload a clip on you, and your life's over.
Yeah, well, if they shoot you one time, then you can tell them. You can tell them. You'll go to court and you'll say, "I didn't do anything." They shoot you 5 times. You can't argue against it.
How do you think we fix the policing problem?
I think I feel like we're fixing a lot of problems in one podcast, but I feel like there has to be more hours, more training, more qualifications to be a police officer. It's like it's one of the most important jobs in America, and you can't handle basic things about the job, then you shouldn't be able to do it.
I think that when you sign up to be a police officer, you know the inherited risk.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle the stress of potentially losing your job, why are you signing up for this?
Well, I mean, I feel like people think they know the risk, but it's not like what the actual job entails. Like the risk, oh, like some huge firefight's going to happen, or this huge drug bust going to happen, or whatever you think is going to happen. When really it's like a 75-year-old woman who doesn't agree with you that she switched lanes without whatever, and she just doesn't agree. And then you're arguing back and forth through a window. You know what I mean? Like it's not. So you have these people, or you have these police officers, you have these whatever on duty, and these riots happen, and you see him like smiling and shit, and you see him like all amped up, like this is the best part of the job. Like, yeah, I couldn't wait for this, and that's not what should be happening. And so there's like a huge superiority complex, where if like somebody gets a badge and like gets some authority, and that's not safe. That's not good for anybody. There just has to be way more authority. And I mean, if you're a police officer and this doesn't apply to you, then that's not what we're talking about. Like if you're a good cop, there's good cops.
Of course,
You know what I
I
mean?
respect the police. I just don't respect these racist, bigoted police. That
Yeah.
it's just not fair.
And the thing is, people think that like when you talk about police, you have to like dumb it down and go, of course, not all police, but it should be self-evident. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like not everyone is bad. Not all white people are racist and all this
Without
stuff.
a doubt.
But when there's a lot of evidence, you got to talk about it and you got to try to fix it when there's an issue.
Stereotyping. It's definitely stereotyping. But
I mean, it is. But when there's evidence like that, then maybe it's not so bad.
they are just more aggressive, more violent. They target African Americans.
Yeah.
Why?
Don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I saw one clip trying to explain it, and it was a like group of police officers trying to explain why they're always in like low income areas and stuff like that. And I can't really remember what all it said, but I don't think there's a real answer, honestly.
I think the system's corrupted. I think that some officers will know that, hey, that officer's bad. Like he's
They have
racist.
to know. They have to know. You know when you're working with somebody, you have a coworker that is the worst out of everybody at your job that doesn't do something right all the time and people have to pick up after him and stuff like that. That happens with every job. So now you have that happening in the police force where it can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be people that know some stuff is going on, that know like I think this guy did some shady stuff. I think, and it just keeps happening. People, I mean, there's got to be people that see, and before something happens to this degree, there's got to be evidence, and there was with like the Derek, whatever his name is, officer. He had all these incidents before, and he was still on the force.
If it's corruption. It's definitely corruption. I can't get down with it. But I'm not saying I don't support the police.
Exactly, and that's like the point that you have to kind of like asterisk it at the end of course all lives matter. Of course you don't hate all cops. Of course not all white people are racist. But you got to address the issues as you see them.
Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, all lives matter.
Yeah, like
But
it's like
black people are being oppressed. And
it's just like the most surface level dumb thing to say. Well, all lives actually matter. It's like, yes, of course. Why wouldn't they? Do you know what I mean? Like, why do we have to explain that?
if all lives matter, you should be paying attention to the black people getting killed.
Exactly. It's just there's no argument for it. Like it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It makes a little bit of sense on a surface level if you're going, well, we all are equal. That's what everybody wants, and we all matter. But then if you dig any deeper, you put any context, you put any more logic towards it, and it just falls apart. So I don't understand why people keep going back to that. At this point, it's like you know what it actually means, and it actually is just taking away from Black Lives Matter. You're taking away the attention. You're taking away from what they're pushing for. And at this point, there's just no excuse for it.
Facts.
Yeah. This was a deep one.
Very deep.
But, I mean, we're not experts. We don't know everything. You don't have to agree with everything we say. But we like to share our opinion. I feel like a lot more people should share their opinions.
They should. They should stop being scared.
Yeah.
I mean, like, thing is, if this is how you feel, this is honestly your opinion, why are you holding it in? You should let it be known. And if people don't agree with that, you shouldn't want to be around those people.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people don't want to be wrong. You know, they don't want to like say something and then like something next week comes out where, oh, he didn't die from that. Like it wasn't actually the cop's fault completely. You know what I mean? So then there's like a little bit of, but as you know it, if it's wrong, as you know it, then speak out against it. Why wait? Like, I don't understand. Like, if something comes out and you were wrong, then just be big and be like, yeah, okay, I was wrong about that. But I thought this had happened. And if that did happen, it would be wrong. So that's why I said that. So, yeah.
You're right.
People should just talk more.
They should. Yeah, I mean, communications changed so much over the years.
Mm-hmm.
The people really just express their minds through a tweet, through an Instagram thing. And people are just scared to really express themselves.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, because some people think that people express themselves too much. You know what I mean? They're like, we don't want to see all this stuff. We don't want to hear about all this stuff, all your day, every single thing in your life, which is true. Sometimes you don't want to hear about all this stuff, like, you know, but important things need to be talked about.
Without a doubt.
So talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to whoever, like educate each other. Do you know what I mean? It's the only way. Like if you just sit there and think your own thoughts over and over and over again and just kind of just going over the same things, you're not getting anything else from anyone else, which is what you need.
I honestly think that these people saying all lives matter, if you're saying all lives matter, it kind of sounds like you're speaking from a humanitarian approach.
Yeah.
Saying that everyone on this earth's lives matter equally.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, you view Black people being killed at a rate higher than your skin color when you want to stand up for them to make sure that they're getting the same treatment as the other people, quote unquote, in the all lives matter.
Exactly. That's why it's so backwards. Like people are going Black Lives Matter and they go, all lives do. And it's like, yeah, exactly. So Black Lives Matter. What are you arguing for?
I'm not saying this for all white people, but in the white community, they think that when people are pro-Black, that they're anti-white.
Yeah, hard, like really hard. Like I see some people on Twitter that are like, being white is like the worst thing you can be right now. And it's like, no, not being white. You're not, no one's like judging you off the tone of your skin. You know what I mean? Like obviously people make jokes about white people, but it's kind of for good reason at this point. Do you know what I mean? So if you get made fun of online for being white, it's not because you're white. It's probably just because you're lame and you're a lame white person. Or, I mean, and it's not to say that you have to agree with everything that's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to agree with everything, but to go out of your way to argue against like a movement that so obviously needs to happen is just ridiculous. And then you deserve any hate that you get from it.
You're not wrong. It's crazy to think that if you look back at the 60s, which was 60 years ago, so grandparents' age, like 2 generations ago, we were fighting for segregation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like history always repeats itself.
Yeah.
But it's just wild that like 60 years ago, people from that era are still alive.
Yeah.
Somebody's grandparents were spitting on Black people for coming to their school.
Yeah.
Some people's grandparents were like letting the dogs out on Black people, trying to fight for equal rights. So that just means that someone's parents in their 40s, 50s, 30s, like not maybe not 30s, in their 40s and 50s, were raised by these people.
Yeah.
Who were opposing the civil rights movement.
I feel like as like naturally that should fade out a little bit. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to directly tell people to not like Black people, or you don't have to directly tell somebody how to think to sway their thinking, especially an adult talking to like younger people. You can do it in ways where you're speaking just a little bit biased, just a little bit this, just a little bit with the undertone, and then it just builds. So as it should fade, and you're not as racist, but you're slightly a little bit, that slight kind of builds up, and then people grow with that same kind of undertone.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's kind of what it needs to stop.
How does it stop? You're in this white community.
I mean, I feel like I'm not, honestly, like not a lot. I mean, I obviously am. Like my whole family is white, but so I feel like I do kind of hear both sides, but I don't really agree with a lot of the white community stuff. So I can't like level exactly on that side, but I think it stops like it starts with like kind of individuality, whatever how you say it, and because then you stop generalizing people when you see somebody as an individual. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even judge them at all until you know them, and I feel like that's kind of that would work with everybody on either side, any race, any whatever. There's no generalizing. Oh, this race is like that. Oh, this group of people is like that. Then it's just like you don't know that group of people. You may know something about them or anything about them, about their ethnicity, about their culture, but then you meet someone and then you talk to that person. Like if people waited to post their judgments until they met a lot of people, then they wouldn't have any thoughts like that. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know how to fix it.
Can it be fixed?
I think so. I think I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you, how are you feeling about the way things are going? Are you hopeful, or are you more like dreary about everything?
Of course, I want to be optimistic, but just looking back at history, I just feel like we do this. There's something happens, we riot, we loot, we burn everything up.
But it's really it's a short history so far.
What do you mean?
Like 400 years, like 200 years of this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a short history.
I just think that the way this country is set up, we're never gonna get the justice that we deserve. Like when the Constitution was written, black people were considered 3/5 of a man.
I saw. Sorry. I saw like it was like a Joe Rogan thing. It was like a stand up, and he was talking about presidents. Like if like one of the founding fathers came today, and we told him about the Constitution, they'd be like, "You didn't write anything new. You're still going off this. Like I wrote this with a feather. Like how are you still going off the same thing?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's what like we need to revise. Like
we need to ratify it.
There's like first world countries that make a revision of their constitution like every 10 years.
But the thing is, it's just this country is so polarized, you know.
Yeah.
That if they ratify the Constitution and say, "Look, we gotta make it to where things are equal," it's gonna be a war. Like this country was like literally founded on war.
Yeah.
Like
it's also such a huge country.
It is.
It's like 50 countries in one giant one.
Like if you just look at the history of this country, like we had to fight Britain to get it, and then within that, we had North and South.
Yeah,
like we literally have a country, and then the North wants to separate from the South, and they're fighting a war. Basically,
the South wanted to separate.
The South wanted to separate, and then after the war was over, Abe Lincoln's like, to punish the South, we're going to free the slaves, and then they free the slaves.
It's exactly how the history went.
It may not be exactly, but they're like, well, we're going to free the slaves. And they're like, fuck, we got to deal with all these fucking slaves now. It's like, what are we going to do? May not be 100% true.
Yeah. But you're right about you paraphrase, but you're right. But yeah, I mean, hopefully it just keeps getting better. Like, that's what you got to hope for.
Then I think Muhammad Ali is one of the most inspirational people. And I'm saying this because during the time of the Vietnam War, he was standing up. He's like, I ain't fighting for this country. He said, no Vietnam ever called me a nigga. Like,
yeah. I mean, why would you fight for a country that doesn't even represent you?
Right? $1 trillion question.
Like when all the like fake patriotism goes away and just logic is there, What? Why? Why
If you're a
would you?
patriot, you're proud to be an American. If you're
Yeah.
proud to be an American, you want to stand up for American citizens.
Yeah.
But
It's
it seems like when you say you're proud to be an American, you're almost saying, I'm proud to be white.
yeah. Or I'm proud of the way things were and I want them to keep happening that way.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Because I feel like if I was to like go to one of those patriot memes, like, yeah, I'm a patriot. Like, get out of here. But I was born in
I mean, they
America.
might accept you. They might be like, awesome. Yeah, come on.
Who knows? Who knows, honestly?
I think it depends on which rally you ended up at.
Who knows? Like these Ku Klux Klan members, I do not know this man's name, but there's that black Ku Klux Klan member.
I'm not familiar.
Well, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Okay.
He like infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan and everything. And he talked to the members and they actually got to know him. And he's actually members actually left the Klan after talking to him. Because they had false perceptions of what black people
That's
were.
what I'm saying. That's what I mean by like the individualism. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can be any race, but your personality is going to be different throughout. Like there's always going to be different personalities.
If I was to look at a broccoli and be like, that looks like a tree, I ain't eating no tree. I can't get down with that, you know? And then lo and behold, someone puts broccoli in a casserole. I'm like, what is this? This broccoli? This broccoli? I've been hating on broccoli this whole time.
Oh my God. You just compared like a race to broccoli. But yeah, I get what you mean. You're judging something before you had a taste of it. You tried it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just simple stuff. It really is. Like it's just judging people you don't even know.
At the end of the day, we're all humans on this earth trying to get by, trying to make it each
That's
day.
what I don't understand. I don't understand how people have the time to be racist. Like life like goes quick. You got to like get your stuff together. You got to keep going. You know what I mean? And you have time to go, you know what? I don't like this group of people at all. Like, how do you even have time to think about that? Like, I don't understand.
It does not make sense. It really doesn't. But yeah, I mean, we started this podcast. We talked about politics, talked about protests.
Yeah. I don't even know if this is supposed to be like a politic episode, but
definitely wasn't.
It has been.
It definitely wasn't. But
so
hey,
we didn't mean to offend anyone. Unless you were offended, then I guess it was natural. But
I mean, if you're offended, like, let us know why. I mean, really, all we're doing is just talking from our perspective.
Yeah. So everyone's going to have a different perspective. We just are hoping everyone can kind of get on the same page, back the people that need to be backed, and
by no means am I against Republicans. In no means am I leaning towards Democrat. I
don't even know. I don't even think we're on like left or right.
I'm honestly just voting for interest at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm not against the police. I'm just against crooked police who get away with murder. And I don't think that's fair.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cut and dry. Like certain things shouldn't happen. And if they do happen, then certain things should happen to fix them. And so far, those fixes haven't came. So people are fighting for them.
I really think that this episode is just two humans talking about
what's going on.
Honestly.
Yeah.
We're just talking about our perception of how we view this country and the world. If you agree, you agree. If you don't, that's on you. I mean, I don't want any beef, no militia. Fine. So thanks for coming, bro. I really appreciate it.
So
until next time.